welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just in the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today, we got ourselves a banger daily market news analysis. What is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Let me know down in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting the share so other people can spam that like button. What is up? DCA range, brother. Hope people are freaking out and feeling excited. Exactly. I feel like the world is over, but it's not, my friend. It is not indeed. All right, let's get into it. I just made a Bitcoin update, but we'll kind of recover that, or we'll cover that and then get into you guys' questions, comments, and concerns. So as the time of recording, Bitcoin's sitting at $72,200. We have fell through my target of $75,000 for the spring. I still think that this is still the phase. I just had the wrong target. And there's lots of reasons for this. We'll cover this. But, you know, the biggest reason off of the rip here is, like, where does the prior lows on Bitcoin, where do they typically go to? Well, they typically go to the prior all-time high. Bitcoin has a history of doing that, in fact. The low typically touches the all-time high. And then not only that, but this time in particular, we have a whole year of trading over here, and then we have 220 days of trading over here. Now, the one thing that's not awesome that's happened is we've lost the 100-week moving average. And likely, we will test the 200 at some point. The question is, are we going to just slam down and grab it right now and just bust through a year worth of support the first time we touch it? Or are we going to find this as support, especially factoring in that we're right on top of the 5-day 200, which typically has been support. Even when we were falling in a straight line here in 2021, this was support here for a few weeks before we fell through it. But the C19 found it as support, and the 2018 bear market found the 5-day 200 as support as well. In fact, we've never really even been below the 200 moving average, except for a little bit in 2022, but you can see that this was really just support of that move. C19, we only just touched it, and then we only just touched it in 2018 as well. My guess is we're going to find all of this as support here while we're working on the spring right now. And then we look on the weekly RSI. We're at 30.3 right now. And then when we look at what does the bottom of the bear markets look like? Well, in 2022, we went to 25.87. In 2018, we went to 29.23. In 2015, we went to 29.9. So we are there. And then the one before that was 34, but that's, 34.78. So we're within the range here. Okay. We're within the range. I still think that this is a major bullish divergence that's taking place here. You can see the volume is way down. The RSI is going lower. Let's show this on the daily chart here. Volume going down, price going down, RSI going up. We're getting extremely oversold. 22 again, even on the daily chart, you can look through all of the local bottoms here. We never really go lower than this point here, and it's not a long time when we're here until it starts to break. And then my thesis is that we're working on the spring move, and in order to confirm that, we need to reclaim this level here. And then let's look at the history of how long did that take place. How long did it take place to reclaim it? And let's look at that. So there's been 3 or 4 springs in Bitcoin's history. The most recent one was back in April. And this was actually the quickest. When we lost the level and then reclaimed it, it was about 7 days by the time we lost the level and reclaimed the level. That was the quickest spring that I could find. We had the one in August with the Japan rate cut fiasco here. From the time that we lost the level and reclaimed it. This is about 25 days, 30 days, somewhere in there. We had the FTX was a spring as well. From the time that we lost the level until we reclaimed it was about 64 days. So this was about the longest it took to reclaim the level. And then the C19 was about 50 days or so. And I think that's the last spring that we had. This is about 55 days. So the average is about 30, 45 days. The longest that we've seen it be is about 65, I think it was, days. And then the shortest amount of time we've seen was about 7 days. Now, one thing that's important to note, let me make sure that there's no more springs. Okay, so there's one more spring, actually, which was right here back in 2015. Let's see real quick just for data purposes. When we lost the level before we reclaimed the level was 61 days. Okay. So we have 2 in the 60s, 1 in the 50s, 1 in the 40s, and then 1 in the below 10. So that's the whole history of Bitcoin and springs and how long it takes to reclaim these levels. Now, in March, we do have, do you think it will start along when it hits liquidity level at 75K? I feel comfortable accumulating here. I feel very comfortable accumulating Bitcoin. We'll talk about that as far as like some coins that I'm accumulating here. I feel very comfortable accumulating at Bitcoin at these prices. Because I think we're starting to get greedy with how deep we think it's going to go. Legitimately, I think we're starting to get greedy with how deep we think it's going to go. And just for context, I sold some Bitcoin at $118,000 publicly. Now, I wish I would have sold more in hindsight. That was my target since we were at $16,000. There's videos of me in 2022. One of my 4 targets for Bitcoin was $118,000. If you got a portfolio review from me in 2023, 2024, I gave the target of $118,000 for Bitcoin. Okay. So that was my target since 2022. That being said, in 2021, I sold the average price of Bitcoin about $50,000. I didn't sell the absolute top, but I sold about $50,000. And in 2022, I accumulated the average price of about $22,000. I got some at 16K, I got some at 30K, I got some at 20K, but I accumulated all of that range. I started dabbling at the Luna collapse. I accumulated all of this, and I started aggressively accumulating after the FTX collapse. That's when I was certain that the bottom was in. I started suspecting the bottom was in over here. I was certain after FTX went to 0 that the bottom was in. My average price in the last bear market was $22,000. Okay. So that being said, I feel very comfortable accumulating at these levels for Bitcoin. Not even just for, because there's difference, and I'll try to layer it. Or, you know, I have a box brain, right? There's women have spaghetti brains, highway brains, men have box brains or waffle brains, right? So I'm going to like compartmentalize this for you, right? So there's the difference of like what I feel comfortable accumulating as far as like my belief in Bitcoin long term, which is like I just buy every single week regardless of price because I believe in Bitcoin long term, right? There's that element of it, which is always happening. And then there's this one, which I'm referring to right now, in that I feel... What in the world? What is going on with TikTok? Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Hopefully that's not going to continue. But I don't know what you guys heard. I don't know what you heard about me. Yeah. Okay, so let's compartmentalize it real quick to caveat, because it's important to understand the variance of this, right? So there's the variant of I'm buying Bitcoin every week because I believe in Bitcoin for the next 10, 20 years for my kids, my grandkids, right? There's that side of accumulation. When I'm saying I feel very comfortable accumulating Bitcoin right now, that's not what I'm talking about. So there's that side of the equation of Ski is investing into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency long term for his kids, for his grandkids, right? What I'm talking about right now is a very different thing, okay? And I'm trying to like really distinguish the variance of what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about now is I believe we are very close to our macro bottom. And I believe, you know, could we go to 65K, 70K, 63K? Sure, we sure can. But we're very much closer to where we're going to be. And when we look back a year from now, we're going to be kicking ourselves. Okay? There is a year of support here. There is 220 days of support right here. I lied. 251 days of support right here at 70K. If you zoom out even more, there is another 6 months of support at the 60, 70K range, 300 days. So 250 plus 300 days. All right, there is 550 days of support at that 70 to 60K range. Like we're being greedy. We're being greedy if we're thinking that like we're just going to wait for the absolute bottom and then we're going to go all in. So when I say I feel very comfortable accumulating Bitcoin right now, I'm not talking about for my lineage, for my kids, my grandkids. I'm talking about Ski, who accumulated the average price of Bitcoin in the last bear market of $22,000. That's what I'm talking about. Go and test it right now. I suspect what's going to happen is we're going to chop here, especially because of how oversold we are right now in this micro moment. Like if I go, and I was talking about this in the trade, shout out to the Telegram. We're making crazy gains every single day. Caught in the matrix. Right? We made 7,000 today trading. We made mistakes, but we still made money. Okay. So, right. Okay. I just lost my train of thought, but I got it. I got it back. I lassoed her back up. Okay. We were talking about in the Telegram this morning when we were trading. We were talking about Bitcoin there, and I've never seen this ever. There is bullish divergences on every single time frame. I have never seen that ever in my life. Does that mean that it's it? Not necessarily. But it means something is happening here. So let's go through it. 1 minute all the way up. Okay, on the 1 minute, the price is down. The RSI is oversold and up. On the 3 minute, the price is down. The RSI is oversold and up. And volume. On the 5 minute, the price is down. Let's zoom this out a little bit here. The RSI is up. On the 15 minute, the price is down. The RSI is up all the way back since January. On the 30 minute, the price is down. The RSI is up. 1 hour, 2 hour, all the way back since early January. 3 hour, 5 hour. The daily chart. The price is down. The RSI is up. Now, we haven't got across on the upside yet on the daily chart. Typically, when we get this oversold, though, let's see how long it takes when we're like this level of oversold. 9 days was the last time. How about over here? 6 days. How about over here? 13 days. How about over here? 21 days. Okay. How about here? 20 days. All right. It doesn't take long when we're at this level. I don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow or next week. But we are at the finality of this. And the one big thing that I keep coming back to, March 3rd, 26 days from now, there is a lunar eclipse. There is not another lunar eclipse until 2029. Now you might be like, Ski, why the hell is he talking about lunar eclipses? Well, let me tell you why I'm talking about a lunar eclipse. Because Luna went to zero in 2022 at the selling climax on the lunar eclipse in June of 2022. And then FTX on the blood moon, which is what's happening in March, went to zero on the lunar eclipse on the blood moon, and that was the bottom. We never went lower for a second. There is not another lunar eclipse until 2029. Am I saying that that is it? I'm not guaranteeing it. But I think there's a high plausibility when you look at where we're at on the weekly chart, where we're at on the 5-day chart, where we're at on the daily chart, where we're at in the sentiment is in the absolute dump. How we're sitting on 550 days worth of support. I feel very comfortable accumulating Bitcoin right now. Crypto is a nightmare. Great. I love it. All right, let's get to some of the comments here. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting that share. Drop a follow, yes, savages. If you're still here, by the way, you're a savage. How's it going? What's your bottom? Fat bottom girls make the rockin' world go round. We're getting very, 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 very close. And I feel comfortable accumulating. I feel comfortable accumulating right now. I don't know if are we going to wick lower? Sure. But I feel very confident, like saying, when we look back a year from now, we're going to be like, damn, that was a good price. Just like, call it 20K or 19K. Was 19K the bottom? No, but if you were accumulating Bitcoin at 19K, like, how do you feel right now? I'll tell you how I feel, because I was, and I feel fine about Bitcoin. Caught in the Matrix. Literally laughed out loud reading your comments. Sorry, bro. I was hoping for 81K retrace down further. Ski, save us! I can't tell if Ski is excited or is in deep emotional pain. I am excited. I think to 58K range. Listen, I'll buy that. The only issue that I have with that is, like, we've only ever been below the weekly 200 once, and it was for a very short period of time. Okay? And it was in 2022. Like, all the other bear market lows were at the 200 weekly. Like, that was it. Okay, so, we have multiple bear market bottoms showing us that the 200 is all we go to. We only very briefly went to this one. And if you think about, like, what happened here, realistically, the selling climax was just to the 200. And, when you think about, like, where is the 200 right now? It's at 58K right now. So it's like Bitcoin needs to slam through 550 days and touch it right now for that to happen. If it chops or meanders along, even for a couple of weeks, this is going to be at like 65K. Like 2 weeks from now, this will be at 65K. It's at 58,100. But I don't think that that's a crazy target. Like, I'm not mad at that target. I own Bitcoin lower than Meister does, and I'm happy. I do too. And why is Dynex holding up so well against everything else? Dynex is holding up well because it already went into distribution before everything else. So it's been in accumulation. Do you think we will have a mega cycle after the Luna blood also? When do you think alts will pop off? Because alt season seemed to skip, unfortunately. I don't think it skipped. Like, right? So, like, what I'm not thinking is happening here is, like, we're going to have to wait 4 more years to charge up and do it again. I don't think that that's going to happen. What I think's happened is gold and silver has stolen the show. And, you know, like, we've talked about this a lot, but this is how it goes. It goes from gold to the Russell to crypto, right? So gold is still working on its distribution. And, like, I said my target for silver was 107. We went to 121 for a day and then smashed to $68 in a single day. So, like, that is a 7 trillion got liquidated in a day on silver and on gold. We're not talking about copper. We're not talking about platinum. We're not talking about none of the other. We're talking about gold and silver. 7 trillion in a day was liquidated. And I love gold and silver. So before you're like, oh, he's a crypto bro, he hates gold and silver. I'm pumped. Bro, what is going on with TikTok? Come on, TikTok. Get it together. So listen, no, I don't think that we're going to have to wait 4 years or whatever, because the Russell realistically is at all-time highs in that range. Technically, it's not an all-time high today, I understand, but like it's in that breakout range. And I just think that gold is distributing right now. Silver's distributing right now. We don't need it to fall off a cliff, although I think that silver probably comes back. Holy shit! It's at 75. It was just at 89. What is happening? Oh my God. What is happening? This was just at 89. What in the world happened to silver? I just looked at this. What? That is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I told y'all silver top, damn it. What the hell? That's insane. I did not think we were going to talk about that today. This was just at 89 like an hour ago. There's no way. Holy shysters. Yeah. What? Bro, when did silver become a meme coin? 2 hours ago, this was at $89. Brother. Hold on, brother. Oh my God. I did not know that this was happening. Okay, listen. Silver has topped, ladies and gentlemen. And I love silver. I've been stacking silver for a decade. That's insane. I'm sorry, guys. I'm literally trying to process this. I just looked. Before I went live, I was smoking my cigar. Because that's what I like to do. I like to get in the right headspace. I like you guys. Listen, you guys are awesome. This is my favorite crowd. No BS. This is my favorite part of the crowd. This is the savages right here, right now. If you're still in this game, you are a savage for real. This is my people right now. You are my favorite people to go live for because you mean it. You're serious. You're dedicated. The worst people are the people that hop on after like things are pumping. Like it's always the nastiest crowd. You are the savages. You are my favorite people to live stream to bring content to. And I mean that. Okay. Silver has topped, guys. Silver has topped, guys. Silver has topped, guys. And how does it goes from gold to silver to the Russell? Silver is not really a part of the equation. That is so crazy, guys. It is dropping like a rock. That is so crazy, brother. That is so crazy, brother. I sold all of my silver. I am 100% out of silver publicly. I said 107, it went to 121, and people were like, ah! Like, who sold silver at 121? Because if you went in there, they gave you 105. They weren't giving you 121. That didn't happen. Nobody sold at 121. It was there for a day. My target was 107. Guess what? You were in the red on that call for 2 days. And y'all want to say I'm a permabull. I'm not a permabull. Silver's one of my biggest, it was one of my biggest positions in my entire portfolio. I am 100% out of silver. I have no interest in buying silver until it's back into the 55s. Then we'll take a look. But there's so much institutional demand for silver. It's going to keep going. Listen, here's what's going to happen. Gold is going to continue to distribute. Silver is going to continue to rug. The Russell is going to break out into price discovery. And Bitcoin is going to finality its spring. By the March lunar eclipse, we are going to be rounding the corner by the end of March. There will be a noticeable shift in energy. Y'all better drop a follow. Just get one thing. Please don't you see a head and shoulders pattern. Sure. Like, I wonder if BlackRock is trading that. Is it good for crypto? Yes. Silver, Bitcoin trades inversely with silver and gold. 100%. That's what's been stealing our lunch money, just straight up. And I love silver. I think, listen, here's the real deal. Long-term macro, not necessarily right now. Long-term macro, though, like, I think if you're in crypto, silver should be a part of your portfolio. I really believe that. Because they are inverse to one another. And so, like, this year in 2025, straight up, crypto did not do what I thought it was going to do. Outside of, from October till now, essentially, it hasn't done what I thought. Okay? From April at 74K, I said that we were going to $118,000, and I sold some of my Bitcoin. I wish I would have sold more. Now, that being said, even with my portfolio not doing what I thought it was going to do, my entire portfolio was propped up by silver. Because my average price on silver was $20. And I sold some at $78, and I sold some at $107. Can you give me a price? How down are you? That's what I'm saying is like I'm not really down this year. Because silver has propped up my entire portfolio. I'm not even down, bro. Like my price on Bitcoin was $22,000 last bear market. My price on XRP was 30 cents. Like I am not down. I am down from the peak. I am not down. And even so, silver propped up my entire portfolio. But listen, real deal, like macro, not this second, I do think that gold and silver should be a place in your portfolio along with crypto because they trade inversely to one another. And you can just kind of rotate them, slosh them back and forth. All your followers are down from listening to your call all season last year. All of them? Eli, are you down overall? 33 cents. However, the only joke is your portfolio, brother. Get out of here. The only joke is how broke you are, brother. Get out of here, ho. All right, let's talk about XRP. Let's talk about XRP. I publicly sold XRP at $3.33. 40% of my holdings I sold there. I wish I would have sold more in hindsight. My average price on XRP is about 30 cents. I publicly called the breakout on XRP a month before it happened, when it was at 50 cents. I have video evidence of this. Okay? XRP was my second largest holding. And then I bought land with it, and everyone said, Nana and a boo-boo, stick your face in doo-doo, you idiot. Why would you sell XRP here? All right. I have limit orders for XRP now. Okay, I said I have no interest in buying XRP until we get back to $1.30. I said that all the way down. I am cool with my bag on XRP. I don't want any more XRP unless we get below $1.30. Okay, today we're at $1.45. I have limit orders on XRP. I have 3 limit orders on XRP. I don't expect all of them to get filled, but I think one of them will. I have one at $1.33. I have one at $1.11, and I have one at 88 cents. That's where I'm buying XRP. Again, I sold 40% at $3.33. I wish I would have sold more. Hi, can anyone tell me the flash crash on metals? Because it's topped. I've been banging the table that it's topped. How about VeChain? I feel great accumulating VeChain right now. Get out of here, ho. Yeah, that's how I feel, bro. Like, the people watching my YouTube videos, commenting every day, how's the spring going? It's still going, ho. That's how I feel. Dry powder buy right now, ADA or Link. I like Link better than ADA. However, ADA is probably a better ROI, but I think they're both great long-term plays. But I just like Link more. It's like a little bit more my darling, if you will. ADA is probably a bit better ROI. Link is probably what I like more, but they're pretty close in ROI. How much for the Telegram? It's $88 for lifetime access right now. Everyone questions the flash crash. Few question the flash pump. Lessons in that, 100%. That's a great parable. Yeah, that's so true. Holding the line. Savage indeed. Oh, man. Hello, API 3. People don't realize saying 72 goes to 67 is insignificant when it's as dead as one can get. 100%. Are you buying the dip? Yes, I am buying the dip. Not on silver. Silver, I don't feel comfortable buying until $50. I have limit orders on XRP at $1.30, $1.11, and 88 cents. I sold 40%. I wish I would have sold more at $3.33 after accumulating 30 cents average price. Bitcoin right now, I feel great. I feel fine accumulating Bitcoin. I feel fantastic about accumulating Bitcoin at these prices. 100%. And I explained the variance and the difference earlier in the live stream. But from a technical perspective, like, I think it's great. Because, like, okay, so you separate the two, like, what is ski accumulating? Because there's two hats that I wear, right? I wear the long-term investor. I'm buying every week for my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my great-great-great-grandkids, right? And I don't care about the price. Put that joker aside. Then there's the investor who's looking for value, who the last bear market had the average price of Bitcoin about $22,000. And who sold in 2021 the average about $50,000. Did I sell the absolute top? No, I did not. Did I buy the absolute bottom? No, I did not. And I publicly sold some of my Bitcoin at $118,000. I wish I would have sold more. That part of me feels great about accumulating here. Just wanted to stop by and say thanks for all your content. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. VeChain and ADA buy zone. So Alex talked about any bottom prediction for Bitcoin. 75 was my prediction. That was my first one for a spring. We've obviously went lower than that. But this is, to me, is the structure of phase C in the spring. I just don't know how deep it's going to go. But when you zoom out, you see 290 days of support right here. And then you see 250 days of support right here. So I don't think that we're going to go below 550 days of support. No, I do not. And then also right now we're right on top of the 5-day 200 moving average, and we're extremely oversold. So I think in the next week or so, we're going to start to see some sort of momentum shift. March 3rd, there's a lunar eclipse. That is the last lunar eclipse until 2029. I don't think we get enough. I think we're in a noticeable difference of energy into April. Everyone's super bear now. Time to flip bull. Yes, 100%. And it's a head and shoulders. A lot of people didn't believe it. Okay. Listen, here's the deal. If you want to call this a bear market, sure. But I'm telling you, we are coming to the finality of what you're calling a bear market. We're not entering into one. We're coming to the finality of it, not entering into one. The finality. Not entering, the finality. Look at the volume right here when FTX went to zero. Look at the volume right now. Look at this volume. Look at it. You didn't answer. I'm sorry. Okay. I got distracted. Alex, my friend Alex, is categorizing, has a category of cryptos that he calls tier 3 cryptos. And tier 3 cryptos are cryptos that have been accumulating for a long time with good tokenomics. Those are the altcoins that I'm interested in. I would say that ADA and Link and VeChain. There's a host of other coins, but like those are the three off the top of my head that are in that category of coin. So to answer your question, I feel fine about all of those right now. By the way, listen, how does it go? Mamma mia. We have been following this candle for candle. Pullback for pullback. Breakout for breakout. And what do we see silver doing? It goes from precious metals to the Russell to crypto. The Russell has not broke out into price discovery. What seems clear to me is silver has topped. Like, what does that look like? That looks like a pin top meme coin. I told you guys last week, damn it. I said if you were my brother and you asked me about poo poo coin, take silver out of it, I would beg you to take profit. But everyone's like, no. There's so much institutional demand for silver. Like, bro, I know parabolic when I see parabolic. I don't care what the asset is. I love silver with all of my heart. I love buying silver. It's my favorite asset to buy. That was parabolic. Yes, 50K. ADA, VeChain, Link, Solnic, yes. 50K is my... We could go below 69K. I'm not going to bet that. 69K, typically, historically, the bottoms go to the prior all-time high. There's a lot of support there. That's a good number to accumulate at. But I do have a 50K bet. 50K, yes, I will shave my head. Stabilize at $50. For silver, I think so. That's when I feel good about buying silver again. I sold 100% of my silver. 100% of my silver publicly. I bought at $20 average price. I publicly sold 100% of my silver. I feel good about buying back at silver around $50. I might not wait until 50. We'll see what it wants to do. But I feel good about that range. That feels fine to me. Silver stabilized at 75. No, it just went below 75. It just went to 74. What do you mean? It went from 89 to 74 in an hour. That is not stable. Physical or stock? I buy physical. The Web, thanks for becoming a member for 13 months, you savage, brother.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
KV says, how do you sell? The same place I buy, I go to a coin shop. That's where I buy all my silver. That's where I sell all my silver. $100%. Listen, on everything. Listen, I've been buying silver for a decade. I have been buying silver for a decade. My average price is $20. Hawkman24 says 75 is overpriced. Long-term silver holders were hyped at $50. This is just FOMO silver pricing. 100% on everything. I was pumped at $50. I was pumped at $50. 100% on everything. Yes, that is absolutely still parabolic at $75. $100%. Listen, I begged you guys to take profit on silver. Last week, I begged of thee. I said, listen, we were looking at the chart just like this. We were looking at it just like this. And I said, if this were not silver, and this were whatever poo-poo coin that you want to name. Let's go on the weekly chart because it looked more like this. I said, if this wasn't silver and this is whatever poo-poo coin you want to name, I would beg you to take profit. If you were my brother, I would tell you to take profit. I said that a week ago. At $100 and whatever it was, $120, $116, whatever it was. Yes, that is a top, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that looks terrible. That's not stable. Metals will dump and chop for years. I agree. Silver will probably hang out at $50 for 5 years. I don't know that actually, I think it'll probably touch. What I actually think is going to happen is I think it's going to touch 50, and then into 2029, we're going to go to a new all-time high, and then we're going to chop for probably 20 years. But sure, if it comes back to 50 and chops there for 5 years, it wouldn't shock me at all. Like, we'll be lucky if it only goes back to 50, honestly. And I love buying silver. Listen, I have bought silver for 10 years. I love buying silver. It's my favorite asset to buy. It 100% is my favorite asset to buy. I love buying silver. It's so fun to me to pick them out, to look at like the marbling, or not the marbling, the rippling, like when there's pores, when there's people have like poured that and they ripple it and there's no two ripples that are the same. Like, that's awesome to me. I love it. But that was parabolic, and I begged everyone to take profit. What's your price target for ETH? I think we're already at a really good value on ETH. We could get to 1,700. I feel fine about accumulating ETH. I don't even like ETH, but I feel fine about accumulating ETH here. I think we're already at like a fair value, or like a great value on Ethereum. And like, you got to think about it too. Ethereum bottomed way before Bitcoin did. Where is my Ethereum chart? Ethereum bottomed way before Bitcoin did in 2022. Excuse me. Way before. I think there's a good chance that we don't go lower than the April lows for Ethereum. It's way high. Like, Bitcoin already took out the April lows. Look at how much higher Ethereum is. This is just a big uptrend the whole time. I don't even like Ethereum, bro. Let's get more touch points here. Like, we'll bring it down a little bit. Maybe it wants to come down to here. 1800, 1700. Like, I don't even like Ethereum. I think it's a great value right now. I don't even like Ethereum. I think it's a great value right now. What's your thoughts on DEX perps? Like what? Hyper? Will XRP go up? Yes, I have limit orders. Listen, here's my history with XRP. I publicly was heavy in XRP in the bear market of 2022. My average price in 2022 was about 30 cents. I publicly called the breakout of XRP a month before it happened with video evidence. And I publicly sold 40% of my XRP at $3.33 after accumulating the average price of 30 cents. I wish I would have sold more in hindsight. Transparently, honestly, I wish I would have sold 80% at $3.33 rather than 40%. That being said, I have limit buy orders on XRP spot at $1.30. I've been saying all along, I have no interest in adding to my bag of XRP. I am good with my bag of XRP unless we get below $1.30. I have limit orders at $1.30, $1.11, and 88 cents. Now, those are more for like a flash liquidation crash, but really, I think we're probably going to accumulate around that $1.30 range, and that's where I'm interested in picking up some more. Not to mention when you cling them together. Yeah, like I love silver. It's so fun. Can I buy spot Bitcoin? Yes. Listen, I'm not telling you what to do, but I've said it all live stream. I feel very comfortable accumulating Bitcoin right now. I feel very good about the price of Bitcoin. I'm not promising you that it's the bottom and we're never going to wick lower, but I think we are working on the bottom price right now. And I think a year from now, you'll kick yourself for not accumulating more. I feel very good about accumulating here. 100%. You think AVAX can hit 200 next? Yes. Ski, I thought 2025 was the big year. It was in some ways. In some ways, it wasn't. A small setback for a big comeback. Can you analyze Bitcoin? Yes, I already did at the beginning of the live stream. Why don't you like ETH? I like the value of ETH. I just don't like the technology. I think that there's better technologies, but ETH's fine. Listen, that's a personal thing. Here's the real deal. Here's the real reason. I've talked about this before. A part of the reason that I was into crypto in the first place was for many reasons, but when I was like really all in on crypto, I started mining it really, really heavily. And I've been mining Ethereum since forever, basically. That whole bear market of 2019, 2018, I mined Ethereum, all of that. I mined in 2021. I was making like $10,000 a day or a month mining Ethereum. You couldn't tell me nothing. And then I didn't feel the bear market for a second in 2022. I was still making like $2,000 a month profit mining Ethereum until they switched it from proof of work to proof of stake. When they switched it to proof of stake, that's when I felt the bear market for the first time. That was already deep into this. I didn't feel the bear market at all until that happened, though. That was the first time I felt the bear market. So why don't I like Ethereum? It's just like personal. Like, I don't like how Vitalik treated the miners. So it's like a personal thing. But Ethereum's fine. Ethereum's a long-term hold. It's a great investment. It's a great value right now. It's a steal right now. But yeah, that's a personal thing. How you feel about Solana? I like Solana. Thank you for the $5 donation, Webb. I appreciate you. How high can XRP and Link go? I still have the same targets for everything.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
My first love was silver too. How much will crypto get wrecked if the indexes start crashing? Listen, hear me. People are saying that this is the start of the bear market. We are rounding the end of it. XMR, Solnic. Solnic's my top 100. You say sell silver. I 100% on my mama said to sell silver. I was begging people to sell silver a week ago. On my mother. On everything. I had two targets for silver. I had $78 and I had $107. I sold some of my silver because my price was $20. It wasn't $70. My price was $20 because I've been accumulating for a decade. I sold some of my silver at $78 and I sold some at $107. Those are my two targets. 107 call was only bad for like 3 days. That was it. Like, let's look at how long 107 was not good. 1 day, 2 day, that was it. 3 days. That was in the red. Oh, man, that was a good one. Do you think we're in normal cycles? No, I do not. I think the Shemitah is going to play a huge part of it. This is the last lunar. So March 3rd is the last lunar eclipse until 2029. 2029 is also the next Shemitah. That's a big deal. You listen, I'm not trying to be woo-woo or whatever the hell. But in reality, Luna went to zero, was the selling climax of the entire cryptocurrency market on the lunar eclipse in 2022. FTX went to zero on the blood moon in 2022. That was the bottom. We never went lower. We have a blood moon coming up March 3rd. To me, we're never going to go lower again after that, after we round out whatever the hell we finish at, if it's not already finished. We do not have another lunar eclipse until 2029. Now, why is that significant? $2029 is the next Shemitah. I have said since 2022, I think that 2029 is the big one. I think we will be rocking and rolling. This is a little pit stop, and it's going to be the roaring 20s into 2029. So, 1987 was the 7th year, the sabbatical year. Black Monday happened. 1994 was the sabbatical year, the 7th year, the Shemitah. The bond market crashed. 2001 was the sabbatical year, the 7th year, the Shemitah. 9/11 happened, the dot-com bubble busted. 2008, the great financial crisis. That was the Shemitah, the 7th year, the sabbatical year. The great financial crisis, the economic recession, the great recession of 2008, the whole reason that Bitcoin exists in the first place. 2015, the Chinese stock market crashed. That was a Shemitah, 7th year, sabbatical year. 2022 was a sabbatical year. Luna went to zero. FTX went to zero. Silicon Valley Bank in the Hebrew same year went to zero. The war in Ukraine happened. The war in Israel, all that happened in the same sabbatical year. There was also an economic recession. I know they changed the definition as to what a recession is, but we had 2 consecutive GDP quarters at a loss for 100 years. Economists agreed that that's what a recession equaled. They changed the definition in 2022. So whether you believe it was or not, I don't care. The economic definition before 2022 was 2 consecutive GDP quarters at a loss. That's what we had in 2022. The next one is 2029, September of 2028, technically. So is it a normal cycle? No, it is not. It is absolutely not. Nothing about this has been normal. Nothing about it will be normal. Moon effects on the market prove we live in a simulation. 100%. Listen, you're not. I'm not going to argue with you here. It should rally after the 3rd of March. If it doesn't even before then, it doesn't need to be like on that day. I think this is my prediction. I think by April, call it, there will be a noticeable difference in the trend. Whether we're at an all-time high or whether we're putting in higher lows or whatever the case may be. Like, I think the bottom will already be in by then and we'll have a trend reversal happening. If it hasn't already happened by then, it will have happened by then. And by April, we're going to have a trend energy shift. Can you still stake Sonic? Yes. You can earn 30% yield on your Sonic while you are waiting. How much is your Telegram cost for lifetime access? Right now it's $88 for lifetime access. This morning we had a hell of a day. A wild day it was. Mistakes were made, but we still profited. Mistakes were made, but we still profited. Where is it? Here we go. This is what we made today. $7,534.09. And it was a bad day. I made a lot of mistakes today, but we still profited. When everyone is scared and out beginning of March, it will rise unexpectedly. If it doesn't happen before then. It doesn't need to happen then, but I'm just saying that is a lunar eclipse. Are you related to Zach? Probably not. I have no idea. Bitcoin and crypto. Been in crypto since 2029. XRP at 144. Looks like we could hit 130 soon. I think so. How high do you think Bitcoin will go the next 7 to 14 days? Probably reclaim 80. How do you take payment? Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, USDT, USDC. All are good. After payment, I just give you the link. Also, if you guys want to book a call, some one-on-one coaching, that does come with lifetime access as well. My prediction is up. Can't go down much lower. I think so, Jeff. I inbox you. Okay, I'll message you after the live is over. All season never came. Down 15K. Okay, bro. All right, bro. Either sell all at a loss, move on, crypto isn't for you, or continue to DCA through it. We're in the thick of it right now. If you want 5, 10, 20x gains, like, you can't cry about being down 15K. It's part of the process. That's it, bro. I promise you I bought the top in 2017. I promise you on everything I bought the top in 2017. It's called being baptized by fire. It happens. You can either have shiny object syndrome and never learn from it, never grow, never refine your process, and go get wrecked somewhere else, probably FOMOing into silver, right? Or you can refine your process, you can learn, you can grow, you can DCA through it, you can pick your fundamental projects with good tokenomics, and just know that at any point in time, if you bought Bitcoin and held for 3 years, you're in the green. That is not true for any other asset in the world. It's true for Bitcoin, though. I promise you I bought the top in 2017. Tim, I'm pumped for you, brother. $71K or $69K bottom. Brother, it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. When Bitcoin is sitting at $200,000, does it matter if you got it at 71 or 69 or 67? No. When Bitcoin's at $500,000, does it matter if you got it at 71 or 69 or 68? No. It doesn't matter. Like, people get a little too greedy at the bottom here. Why silver crash? Because it topped. I begged people to take profit on silver last week on everything. On everything, I begged people to take profit on silver. Like, who watched me last week? I said, I promise you, if silver, we're looking at silver, and this is, let's call it poo-poo coin instead of silver, and this is the chart we're looking at, I would beg you to take profit. This is parabolic. That's why it crashed. Like, it's probably going to go back to $50. My value plays right now are Bitcoin. Ethereum, I think, is an excellent value right now. Link, VeChain, ADA, Solnic. How do I get into Telegram? You could send me a DM on Instagram or an X. I give the links out manually, so I make sure I know who's coming in. I don't want any hooligans coming in. Yeah. Dot's a fine play. I like Flux. You know, there's a lot of things that are good. But, you know, just look at the tokenomics on a coin. I think, like, I have interest in XRP at about $1.30. I'm not interested just yet because my average price is still 30 cents. I still have a big bag of XRP, but like if you don't have XRP, or maybe you bought XRP at $3 or something like that, like I think XRP might be getting pretty close to extreme. Solana over ETH. I think so. Yeah. The only thing about Solana is like it's kind of losing this. Let me look at the market cap on Solana. I think Solana is better than Ethereum personally. Yeah, so we haven't even taken out the market cap low over here. The only thing is if we take this out, like there's not too much over here. That's the only thing that worries me. But I think that this will probably hold. This is a higher low right now on market cap. Seems to be a big level. How oversold are we? Pretty damn oversold on the weekly, on the daily. The same level that we were over here back in April. Same level we were in the April crash, or the June crash. Same level we were at the FTX collapse. So this is a pretty big level here. Yeah, I like Solana more than Ethereum, but like I'm not gonna pretend like it's not they're not both good. Okay. I think it heads to 1550, honestly. What about XLM as opposed to XRP? They're kind of, so for me personally, they're both fine. I think that they're both long-term plays. I think the XLM's a little bit more volatile for me. Also, XLM doesn't have quite as good of tokenomics as XRP. I think they're both fine. You know, pick shooter's choice. I pick XRP over XLM, but like if you want XLM, like I think XLM's fine. I don't think XLM went into price discovery though. Did it? Where XRP did. Yeah, so like this is the only thing that's a little concerning is it didn't make a new high where XRP did. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's setting up for something bigger. But, I mean, I like XRP's track record. They're both fine. It's potato. XRP, though, is way higher. So, like, I guess the risk to reward is a lot higher. Because realistically, like, XRP has a kind of a big value where it could, you know, kind of keep falling, where maybe XLM gets down here to 12 cents or something like that. Maybe, if you're lucky. It's a lot of volume. That's crazy. All right, guys. Can you chart the Russell? The Russell doesn't have really anything to update unless it makes a new low or a new high, because it's still kind of meandering its way along in the same spot that we've been talking about. But, like, what do we have happening? What do we see happening? Silver is falling off a cliff, right? So that hasn't like quite went into the Russell just yet. It's going to go somewhere though. But we made the all-time high. There's not really a lot to talk about on the Russell until either we make a new low or we make a new high, because it's just kind of meandering its way along here. I'm not bearish on ICP. ICP is fine. All right, guys. I notice you manifest with the number 8. Yeah. 8 is abundance. 8 is the universe. 8 is everything. 8 is the creator. All my prices are in 8s. On purpose. All right, everyone. That is going to be it for this time. You can book me if you're watching on TikTok. There's a link in my YouTube as well. If you book one-on-one coaching with me, we can do trading strategies, portfolio, charting, all that stuff. That also gets you lifetime access to the Telegram, and we live trade every morning, Monday through Friday in there. But I will be live tomorrow. I took a little bit of time off, but I'm feeling good. And I was checking the vibe. I want to be honest with you guys. I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen when I came on today. I didn't know if it was going to be nasty or if it was going to be the savages. And I got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised. Or I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But it was mostly my reminder of like when I was going live every single day in 2022, that was my favorite time because the people were like really about it, you know, and all of the people trying to get rich quick were gone and only the savages are left. And that is my favorite people to talk to. That's my favorite people to hang out with. That's my favorite people to chart with, my favorite people to kick it with. And so listen, I'm pumped. I'll probably be live streaming a bit more now because like, honestly, like it starts to just be like all the nastiness is just like, man, like I don't need this, bro. Like I can just trade. But you guys are my favorite people. So we'll probably be doing some more live streams. Typically I go Monday through Friday anyways. But make sure you drop a follow, subscribe, like me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I will never message you first. I'm at Gayeski. That's the handle on Twitter. I'm at Yaboyski, YABOYSKEY on Instagram and YouTube. And then at Skis Crypto on TikTok. I will never message you first. If you want lifetime access to the course, or not to the course, to the Telegram, where we trade live Monday through Friday, and we put out calls, buys, sells, all that stuff, you can DM me for lifetime access to that, or you can book a call with me for some one-on-one coaching, and that also comes with lifetime access to that as well. But that is going to be it for this time, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity.